The Truck Series races under the lights on NASCAR's home turf, Lowe's Motor Speedway. For drivers like Todd Bodine, this means a little extra time at home.
Mile-and-a-half track. Well, one thing is for certain. We are in for a showdown tonight. Don't go anywhere. We are moments away from the field taking the green flag. It's the Quaker Steak and Lube 200.
Okay, you ready?
It's on speed
be right there.
now.
When they say it's racing in your backyard, they actually mean it.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Concord, North Carolina. It's race number 6 for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. It's the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Quaker Steak and Lube 200, presented by Circle K. Beautiful evening for racing here in the Charlotte, North Carolina area. Hello, everyone. I'm Rick Allen, alongside of Phil Parsons, Michael Waltrip. It is race number 6 for the Truck Series, and it's always an exciting time when we come right back here to what is called the backyard, really, of most of these teams. Phil, we have got a star-studded field once again for this race.
Well, we sure do. We have 6 former champions running full-time in 2007 in the Craftsman Truck Series, and you throw Mike Bliss in, also a former champion, running tonight. And then you think about people like Mark Martin and Kevin Harvick and Kyle Busch, who's won the last 2 races here at Lowe's Motor Speedway. A great field of trucks here at Lowe's Motor Speedway.
Michael, what always makes this race so good at this racetrack?
It's the venue. I love Lowe's Motor Speedway. I love the fact that my race shop's located just up the road from here. I love the fact that most of the guys racing in this race tonight are located here. And then look at the yellow walls. The intense vision that we see at this racetrack tonight, and believe me, from the yellow walls on the top to the ones on the bottom, we're going to be all over this track tonight with trucks.
How big is it to have your family and your friends and everybody come to this racetrack?
Oh, it's huge. I won the All-Star race with my mom and dad sitting in the grandstands. How much better does it get than that?
Well, it's going to be very exciting. We're sure of that. And before we get this race underway, obviously we've got to fire the engine. So let's go back trackside for that command.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your Grand Marshal, Mike Stack, the chairman of the board of Quaker Steak and Lube, as he delivers the most famous words in motorsports.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Are fired. The crowd is settling in for 134 laps at Lowe's Motor Speedway. The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series on Speed, presented by Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge. Brought to you by the official tools of NASCAR, Craftsman, and by Aaron's Sales and Lease Ownership. Nobody beats Aaron's. Nobody. Trucks beginning to roll around the racetrack now as the sun has set, the moon is out, the lights are on. It definitely makes everything shine and look a little bit quicker and sparkle all over. And we'll take a look at our starting grid. It will roll along the bottom of the screen. Mike Skinner, 3rd consecutive pole at this racetrack.
And he'll be tough. He'll tuck that thing right on the bottom, won't he, Phil? He doesn't mind abusing that right front tire, diving to the bottom of the racetrack and just making that truck cut. We'll see some other guys, though, that'll be easier on that right front and run it up to the top.
We want to take a look at a few different drivers. We have our speed spotlight, and first we're going to shine that light on Kevin Hamlin. Ray Dunlap.
Rick, for any of the fans that are familiar with Kevin Hamlin on the West Coast, they know he's a winner. Whether it's in the NASCAR West Series or whether he's driving in the former Northwest Tour, just about every car and team that Kevin has been with, he's gone to victory lane. Just a week ago, the Dodge camp decided to take Chase Miller out of the number 4 truck, and they said, who's our next best prospect? Well, Kevin Hamlin. He's a Ganassi development driver, and he'll be driving the number 4 truck tonight here at Lowe's. Adam?
If you're a fan of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, then you've probably heard the name J.C. Stout, a New York State native who made his first attempt at a truck race in 2007 earlier today. He had to qualify on time. He did so, and this evening will make his 10th career start of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. It's a family operation, the kind of group you like to root for, and J.C. Stout very excited about his opportunity to make his debut in the 2007 season.
Michael, my guy is Shane Huffman. You know Shane Huffman. He drives for Dale Jr. in the Navy car. But what you don't know maybe is about this truck. Barry Dotson is the crew chief on this truck, and it's been fast, Phil. He's run that thing in the top 5 every time he's been on the big track at Daytona, Talladega. He's got that program down. Does he have it down here tonight in Charlotte? We'll see. Who you got, Phil?
I'm going to take a look at Justin Hopgood. He's driving the 3rd Germain Racing Toyota right there. And oh, by the way, his day job is a fabricator for that race team. Justin's got a lot of experience in the Dash Series and the Hooters Pro Cup Series. Does a great job here. Does a lot of testing for the Germain team. He's 27 years old, and he's starting 9th ahead of both his teammates tonight.
Get the lights shining here at Lowe's Motor Speedway. Want to take a look at our Restore Race Analysis. 36 trucks will be starting this one, 200 miles, 134 laps.
See, the purse is a little bit over $500,000. The pit window about 60 to 65 laps, and everyone talks about how these tires will run fast laps, lap after lap after lap. So we may see some tire strategy later on, maybe some 2-tire stops, Michael.
What I like about our picks tonight, Phil, you and Rick and I, we talk about who we like. No one has picked anyone in the top 5 or even the top 10. We think the winner could possibly come from back in the field where Kevin Harvick and some of those other guys start. So it's going to be entertaining because of the fact that we're going to see guys come from the back to the front.
We're going to be riding along with 7 different drivers, and you see the cameras there. A.J. Allmendinger will start 14th. Kevin Harvick 24th. Kevin Hamlin starts 26th. Mike Skinner obviously on the pole. Ted Musgrave in the 29th position. Joey Clanton will start 22nd, and Ken Schrader starts 28th. So Michael, just as you had mentioned, we may see some of these trucks move their way from the back to the front.
Michael, Ted Musgrave and Ken Schrader both had great trucks in practice. They feel like they have a shot to win this race. They're starting way back in the back.
And let's go back down trackside for our thoughts before green. We'll begin with Ray Dunlap.
Well, thank you, Rick. You know, on just about every show, I like to talk about statistics or numbers. Well, I've got a number for you tonight. Write this one down. 30.903. That's the barometric pressure tonight here at Lowe's Motor Speedway. And believe me, folks, I couldn't even make this up. What are the numbers of the 3 Germain Racing trucks tonight? 30, 9, and 03. So keep your eye on that 30 tonight. Todd Bodine, the very best driver when it comes to 1.5 mile tracks. He starts deep in the field tonight, but I have a feeling the weather could be pointing in the direction of the Germain Racing team. Adam?
And you can keep your eye on the 9 as well, Ray. He won this race in 2003, leading some 28 laps. But if he's going to win tonight, he's got to come from deep in the field. Ted Musgrave starts 29th here this evening. And the reason he starts so far back is he was very loose in qualifying. He was the 2nd truck on the track earlier this afternoon in the qualifying session. But when practice ended today, he was the fastest. And that means it should be very entertaining watching his Toyota come from 29th and try to win again this evening here at the Lowe's Motor Speedway in Charlotte.
Well, and Michael, you had just touched on a little bit of guys coming from the back to the front. Do you think that outside line is going to help them? They might go high, maybe try to pass some of these guys early on.
I love the way this race sets up. Right now, I'm looking at Mike Skinner. He qualified on the bottom. He's going to run on the bottom. But then I'm thinking about Brendan Gaughan and some of these other guys. Here you see Jason White was the only cat that failed to qualify. We got some guys that had some engine problems in practice. When you think about guys going to the back, the fact that this track is going to widen out, we're going to have guys from that yellow wall up top to the bottom. That makes it a lot more fun. But let me tell you one more quick fact. Ray, the barometric pressure just dropped to 28.93.
28, 9, and 3.
38.93. I don't know, other than I'm going to tell you whatever he said doesn't matter anymore.
The ambient temperature, I think, has probably dropped to about 63 or 64 degrees too. We know that meteorologist Ray Dunlap's going to keep us up with all of that. The field comes in front of the grandstands. We are underway with the Quaker Steak and Lube 200. Throwing it into turns 1 and 2 early on. 36 trucks making their way through that turn and onto the backstretch.
You know, we talk about running the top of the racetrack. Brendan Gaughan qualified 12th, I think, and he qualified at the top of the racetrack.
I've never seen a truck qualify as fast as he did, out of the groove like he did. And you know what I love about this track, Phil, and trucks particularly? Look at the way they fill up the racing surface. When these guys bail off into turn one, they're going across the start-finish line now. When they bail into turn one, this whole track from top to bottom is full.
Look at the lead. Mike Skinner has pulled out over Travis Kvapil right now, but they've got single file up front here, then 2 and 3 wide all the way back towards the back of the pack.
There's Mike Skinner digging right dead on the bottom of the racetrack. That's where he will stay. He has a very, very big comfort zone when he's able to get that truck to the bottom of the track.
Side by side, Rick Crawford and Kyle Busch. And look at who's going to throw that truck in there. Ron Hornaday in the 33. It's Rick Crawford in the 14, Kyle Busch in the 51 on the outside.
I'd love to see that outside groove come in so quick. Rick Crawford is able to make the move. Now Kyle's going to switch over to the inside. He's going to try that for a while.
Crawford running the high line now. Here comes Ron Hornaday on the outside. In the truck series, you've got to watch out.
Little wiggle by Rick Crawford right there.
On the inside, a lot of times we see the truck on the inside lose the air off the real spoiler and get turned around.
That was a case where we saw the truck on the outside get loose. Rick Crawford.
And, you know, we've seen Mike Skinner be able to, when they say go, drive off to a big lead. While he does have a bit of a lead, he's not able to get away from these guys. Kvapil staying right with him, and Kyle Busch just moved into the 3rd spot.
You know, we saw Mike Skinner dominate the early portion of our last race at Kansas. Got behind a little bit on pit stops and was not as good when he didn't have the clean air that he has when he's out front.
We're already hearing that Wayne Otten and the NASCAR officials have said, all right, 1588, settle it down a little bit.
Those guys are running in the 12th and 13th spot, so they've obviously had some issues back there that NASCAR didn't like looking at.
The 33 of Ron Hornaday has just taken over the 3rd position. There's the 88 of Matt Crafton. That's Mike Bliss and the IWX Ford out of the Express Motorsports stable right there. That's a battle for 13th.
I love the yellow walls. Do you guys love the yellow walls?
I like the yellow wall. Ooh, somebody bounced off the wall.
Hit the yellow wall.
Speaking of that yellow wall,
I believe it was Mike Bliss in that red Ford.
I think it was the truck in front of Mike Bliss that might have hit that outside wall.
Was that the Bubba Burgers truck?
It might have been there's the 99 of Eric Darnell, who's been so fast, won our last race at Kansas, been fast testing, been fast in practice today, had a pretty good qualifying effort. He's on the move.
Eric Darnell makes his way by the 51. That's Kyle Busch on the outside.
He hadn't quite made his way by him yet.
Working around Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch 2 wins in a row here at Lowe's Motor Speedway, looking to make it 3, running the very high line around this track now.
And if everyone at home, this is the Dream Machine truck for A.J. Allmendinger. If everybody at home will give me and Phil a break, we've been out there. We know what it's like to slide through a corner to 170 miles an hour and how tense it is right now. So we get a little giddy when they first throw the green flag. And A.J. Allmendinger has moved up from 14th to 10th and is putting that Aaron's Dream Machine up into the top 10.
That yellow Lumber Liquidators Toyota's Todd Bodine.
Oh, we got a spin, Phil.
Right in front of Todd Bodine.
Problems in turn number 2. We hear it's the 03 of Justin Hobgood.
Oh,
very close. Actually,
he just got clipped.
Who was that clipped him?
47, Craig Kinzer.
Yeah. Just barely clipped him, but that was enough to probably get him turned around. Tough break for Justin Hopgood.
Guy got a tire going down. I'm not sure. I doubt it, but it's that bad.
Yeah, a lot of damage on Craig Kinzer's number 47 Ginn Properties. Just got loose all by himself right in front of the 88 of Matt Crafton.
First caution comes out at Lowe's Motor Speedway. The Quaker Steak and Lube 200 is underway. Welcome back to the Quaker Steak and Lube 200 presented on Speed by Dodge. We are under caution. It's the first caution of the night. They had got up to speed. They were running about 5-6 laps, and Justin Hobgood had problems.
Yeah, Justin was right in front of the 88 of Matt Crafton. Lost control, backed into the outside wall. Tried to keep it. You could see the tires, wheels are locked. Tried to keep it up out of the racing groove, and the 47 just comes by Craig Kinzer, clips him, and makes some contact with the 03 truck and the inside wall. Here's a view from Kevin Harvick's onboard camera.
And Kevin knows he needs to get to the bottom and go as fast as he can. A lot of other guys had some indecision, Phil. Justin started up high and made a lazy slide down to the bottom. You can see there the truck just gets loose on entry.
Got our stand behind you. Clear all around. Yellow is out. Rex behind.
And let's go back down to trackside, pit road, and Adam Alexander.
Ted Musgrave did come in at lap 9. The report from crew chief Rick Gay, we weren't going anywhere. The truck a little bit free, so they came in 4 tires, slight chassis adjustment, and sent him on his way. And Ted came back on the radio and said, were the leaders really that fast? So obviously he feels like he needs some get up and go if he's going to have an opportunity to repeat as a winner of this race here this evening. Ray?
Adam, Kyle Busch was very, very loose. They went down on the track bar 6 rounds. That's a big adjustment, but he said it was wicked loose through the center of the corner. So a big adjustment for Rowdy. We'll see if that makes his truck better. They came to pit road on lap 9.
Watch Rowdy on this restart if you get a chance, Phil.
Yeah, he's going to be on the move. There's no doubt about it.
When they say go, he means business. You can see how all the trucks roll up to the high side there to block anyone from passing to the right. But when they get down to the quad oval, there's room to pass to the right.
Travis Kvapil's looking at the outside of the 5 of Mike Skinner to try to take over the lead.
K&N Ford of Travis Kvapil looking to the outside early on. They're side by side as they work their way through 1 and 2 and down the backstretch.
Both of those trucks went through that corner wide open. You could hear them.
And look at Hornaday in there trying to figure out which way he wants to go. We know everybody talks about Ron Hornaday's restarts, the way he gets off the line. But what I like about him is once they go, when they get in high gear for a lap or two, he's on a mission.
First lap led by someone other than Mike Skinner, and it's Travis Kvapil out in front of the field now.
Eric Darnell, the 99 truck, is in 3rd position.
And that's just a great example of the guy leading, not getting a good restart. He dropped from 1st to 4th. He had a truck they couldn't touch for the first 9 laps.
Now it will be interesting to see how that 5 truck handles in this dirty air. He's not out front with that cleaner. We've got some great racing though side by side. There's Rick Crawford, the 14 on the inside. There's a 21 of Mark Martin who's going to drive by on the outside, as does the 16 of Mike Bliss.
When you get pinched down to the bottom, Phil, we all know how you get loose.
Right there, a little bit loose for Rick Crawford.
Crawford really knows how you get loose when you get down on the bottom. That was a heck of a save by Crawford.
Yeah, that was a nice save. Look at, he's loose again. He's been loose this entire race. Now the 00 of A.J. Allmendinger pulls up right on his tailgate.
And he makes his way to the outside of that 14 truck, but here comes Matt Crafton. He's down on the inside making a move.
Don't even have a chance to catch your breath. Make one save and you've got another one. He's got his hands full, folks. On the left side of your screen, you can see that 14 of Rick Crawford. He is all over the place. Ray, what's going on in that with the radio communication there?
Well, he said on the first 4 or 5 laps it was fine, but he got racing beside somebody. He said it got real loose, and it's like it just completely changed the truck. Now it's terrible loose at every end.
And Ray, let me just tell you, when a truck gets loose because of circumstances, you're really tentative when you drive it off into the next corner. You're not real sure if it's tires going flat or what's going on. Here, though, that's an arrow loose, right, Phil?
He sure is. He almost drives up into the 16 of Mike Bliss. Look how sideways he is. Does a great job of not overcorrecting. If he overcorrects, he takes out 8 or 10 trucks.
And A.J. Allmendinger just sitting there saying, wow, we don't usually do this in Indy cars.
There's another view.
Got one coming out.
It's so easy to lose that front end after the truck straightens back out, and he didn't do it.
Clear after the 30. He's outside now.
Back out in front, that's Travis Kvapil, and Ron Hornaday not letting him go right on his back bumper.
That's a good old Ford Chevy battle in the front, and there's a battle between 2 Toyotas for the 4th spot.
I feel like they're pulled back all the time.
Jack Sprague just runs right by Mike Skinner.
Mike closes up a little bit coming off the corner.
Problems with the 4.
Kevin Hamlin driving that truck this week. Definitely off the pace. Probably will make his way to pit road. I tell you, Hornaday is really good off of turn 2. He has gained both the last 2 laps on Travis Kvapil coming off turn 2.
And Phil, you remember during qualifying, Hornaday almost spun that truck out. It was loose in qualifying. Now it's fast when the sun's gone down.
Hornaday's real quick through the corners. You see him making up a lot of ground. Although he doesn't need to make up too much on Travis Kvapil, but Kvapil looks like he's going to have his hands full real soon here.
You know, we wondered about the guys that were really good in qualifying. We wondered if they may get too tight tonight in the race, and now we have a side-by-side battle for the lead.
This looks exactly like what we talked about. Phil Hornaday was loose. The sixth, oh, he can't do that. He tried to lean on him getting into the corner. Made him loose.
Hornaday out in front of the field, and it's side-by-side back behind them. Mike Skinner on the inside, Eric Darnell on the outside.
Yeah, Jack Sprague has been able to get by the 99 of Eric Darnell. Now Mike Skinner's trying to do the same thing. Not able to do it right now.
That was an aggressive move by Hornaday. He tried to run that other truck, the sixth truck, up the hill and then cut away from him. But that made him get sideways on entry.
And this is 19 laps into the race, too.
19 laps into the race, 3 different leaders. Mike Skinner has been out in front. Now Ron Hornaday's been out in front. Travis Kvapil has also led this field.
Well, I like seeing Ron Hornaday out front. He's a truck champion. He's a truck guy, and he's proven that he can still get it done. He's gotten those Kevin Harvick Truck Camping World's Chevys fast, and he's driving away from them.
You know, last year he had really struggled up until the time they got here. They spent a lot of time testing here. Todd Berrier, the Nextel Cup crew chief for Kevin Harvick, really helped them with his Qualbine setup, and they've been good ever since.
And as a truck series fan, I like it. I like that Ron Hornaday's fast.
Mike Skinner started out in front of the field. He has dropped back to the 4th position. In front of him, it's Ron Hornaday Jr., Travis Kvapil, and Jack Sprague. Eric Darnell rounds out our top 5. The greatest event to take place on speed happens tomorrow. No points, no championship, $1 million to win. That is a race. It's just one day away. The NASCAR Nextel All-Star Challenge only right here on Speed.
That is so big. And Michael, you were fortunate enough to win that race a few years ago. It didn't pay $1 million, but it did pay over 200 grand. And well, how special was that to you?
Oh, my mom and dad were here. My brother was in the field, and I won the All-Star race. It was my first ever Nextel Cup Series win. I mean, it was huge. But let me tell you something that makes this place special. All the crew guys are here. Everyone that turns a bolt or twists a wrench on these cars are here watching this action. You want to perform for those guys.
And probably their families, more than likely.
Moments ago, we had 3 different screens up on the screen. You could almost fill the screen with 8, 9, 10 different boxes because there's races all over the racetrack.
We knew there would be because we saw in practice the trucks going all over the racetrack, all the way up high, right on the bottom, in the middle. So we knew we would have trucks racing side by side.
And you know, I love speed. Last night when Larry Mack's barbecue came on, I pushed my TiVo to record speed from then until tomorrow at 2 in the morning.
You're going to blow it up.
Everything I want to know is here at Lowe's Motor Speedway, and it's here on Speed. But let me tell you, my neck is hurting. I'm looking all over this racetrack up here in the booth trying to figure out what battle I like the best. Here's these 2 guys racing for the 10th spot. TJ Bell gets put back a spot by Matt Crafton.
Crafton takes over the 10th spot from TJ Bell.
And there's Harvick. He started in the 20s. He's racing up to the top 10. He came up there in a hurry, though, Rick, and now he's sort of stalled out. He hadn't made much progress.
He talked earlier about setting the truck up very loose because they thought it was going to come in as the sun set and the track cooled off.
Look at this battle for the 2nd position right there. Jack Sprague works to the inside of the 6th of Travis Kvapil.
Now, Hornaday has driven off from these guys, but you got 2 Toyotas and a Ford here that are trying to work it out for the 2nd spot, knowing that there's a Chevrolet of Ron Hornaday laying up there ahead.
And oh, by the way, right behind this group, that 30 truck started way back in the 19th position. That's Todd Bodine up into the top 5.
Defending series champion Todd Bodine is going to throw that Toyota Tundra into the mix. These 2 continue side by side around the track.
There's 3 of them. Look at Skinner. He's trying to figure out who to follow.
They just changed spots again. Sprague now scored in 2nd, Kvapil in 3rd, but it's not over by any stretch of the imagination.
And here comes Skinner to make the inside of Sprague.
I thought he was going to make it 3 wide for a moment. He had such a good run coming through the center and off the corner.
I thought it so much, Phil, I couldn't even say it.
And oh, by the way, the top 5 right now, all former champions of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
And then Mark Martin's running 6th.
It's got to make a guy like Eric Darnell, who's back in the 7th spot, pretty proud. He's getting beat by 5 champions and Mark Martin.
There's an All-Star Challenge tomorrow. Right now, Eric Darnell is watching an All-Star race in front of him. Adam Alexander.
One of the other drivers on the track that's been somewhat successful tonight is Johnny Benson. He's moved from 20th inside the top 17 now as he just went around the machine of Joey Clanton. But there have been some issues. Johnny's been frequent on the radio tonight saying something is not right with the front end of the truck. At one point he said it felt like a brake was coming apart. A little bit later he said he felt like he was blistering a tire. It was all in relation to what was happening in the front end. That team very anxious to get on pit road and find out what they have with that truck. Despite his issues, he is moving forward.
Disappointing to see this South Point Chevrolet make its way onto pit road right now. Very strong in practice and qualifying. Top end came out of it, I believe, is what Brendan just mentioned.
Yeah, tough break for the South Point team.
That means Brendan thinks something has happened to the heads or the upper part of the engine. Ray, what are they saying?
Well, Michael, they're going to go under the hood and take a look there just to make sure there wasn't an ignition problem or spark plug. But he is definitely not under power right now in this South Point Chevrolet. So looks like it could be a terminal situation. Not a whole lot of activity here as he came to pit road.
Ray, we're getting a report that NASCAR is looking on the backstretch as we got a tremendous battle for second side by side. Looks like Jack Spray's going to use that 86 truck for a pick to get by the 6 of Travis Kvapil.
Clay Rogers in that 86, a slower lap truck, and Todd Bodine closing in on those 3 trucks as well.
Yeah, he's up to 4th right now. He's gained another spot, got by the 5 of Mike Skinner.
Only 3 drivers have won at this racetrack. Ted Musgrave, Dennis Setzer, and Kyle Busch has won the last 2 races. And well, none of those are even close to the front right now, so we could have a new winner at Lowe's Motor Speedway tonight. Ron Hornaday first on that list. Jack Sprague, Travis Kvapil, Todd Bodine, Mike Skinner, your top 5. Welcome back to the Quaker Steak and Lube 200. We are under caution. That is what is left of the 60 truck of Jack Sprague. An unbelievable hit here, folks.
Watch the middle of your screen. Jack Sprague's truck is just going to turn hard right. Cuts down the right front tire, makes hard contact with a safer barrier. Great news for these drivers, that safer barrier here, Michael.
Well, Phil, you've blown a right front tire.
That's the worst thing can happen.
Jack was right down on the white line. He was as low as he could be. He had no idea that tire was fixing to blow. Shot up into that safer barrier, and he will be able to breathe without pain in the morning. Whereas 5 years ago, that hurt.
You can see all the damage to the right side of that Conway Toyota. Good news to report that he was able to get out on his own power, walk to the ambulance.
Big hit for Jack Sprague, but he did walk under his own power into the ambulance. Aaron's lucky dog goes to Brian Silas in the number 71. We'll be back with more from Lowe's after this. On to pit road they come. Let's go down to Adam Alexander.
It took Ron Hornaday 19 laps to go from 7th to the lead. A little snug off the corner. No major adjustments. 4 tires and fuel. Ray Dunlap.
Travis Kvapil is going to get around a wedge down on the right rear jack bolt. They also took a pound of air pressure out of both of the front tires. Earlier in practice today, he said it was a very harsh ride. He's trying to make that thing roll through the corners just a little bit better in that K&N Ford. Kvapil has an opening at the end of pit road here, but he is going to lose a couple of spots there. The 33 and the 9 both going to go out ahead of him.
Very tight race as they came off of pit road. It looked like Mike Skinner and then Todd Bodine. Ted Musgrave comes off of pit road 3rd. We'll shake it all out when we come back to Lowe's Motor Speedway. It's live on Speed, the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Welcome back to the Quaker Steak and Lube 200, presented on Speed by Dodge. Getting back up to speed and tacking on to the back of the field is the 21. They're doing a lot of work underneath here.
These guys are working on that splitter or something up underneath the truck, beating it up. You know, he had a fast truck, but we saw on lap 3 or 4, Phil, exiting turn 4. Look, right here, watch the sparks.
Just right Boom. There, bounced off the wall.
That was Mark Martin bouncing off the wall off turn 4, and they decided they needed to work on that truck, despite the fact it was running good.
And they brought it down pit road twice now. They did a lot of work underneath the truck the last time, and just making their way off 3 times, Phil?
3 times, yeah. They came in with all the lead lap trucks and then came back in the next lap and this lap. We're getting ready to restart this race.
He's dropped all the way back to the 26th position. Obviously, an uphill battle. This cat right here couldn't hold the lead early, but got it via his pit crew. Those guys got him out in the front.
26 trucks still on the lead lap. First truck being scored a lap down. David Starr in that number 10. Mike Skinner out in front of the field. He won the race off of pit road.
Let's see what kind of restart he gets, Rick. You know, earlier he had the lead and he lost the lead on a restart to Travis Kvapil. He's got Todd Bodine behind him now. Probably a little sensitive, wouldn't you think, Phil?
I would think so.
He's thinking, okay, you're not going to beat me this time.
Ted Musgrave is going to restart in third. I think he must have changed 2 tires because he was pretty far back in the pack when he came in the pits.
And you know, that's what's fun about NASCAR racing. He's figured out a way to overcome that poor qualifying effort in a 200-mile race. You know, that's what I love. You have options, especially when you have tires like Goodyear brings. And at a track like Lowe's where you can run from top to the bottom, it gives you options.
Ron Hornaday lines up in the 4th position, was so strong. There's Kevin Harvick. He's going to look to the inside of that lap truck of David Starr. He's made a nice move, started back in 24th, currently being shown in the 7th spot.
Well, he has just cleared a gaggle. Everything behind him is all wadded up. Allmendinger on the inside of Cook.
There's a 16 of Bliss. There's Allmendinger. There's TJ Bell, the 50. There's Aaron Fike on the outside in the 1 truck. Here comes Joey Clanton, the 09, very right of your screen. He's got a couple top 10 finishes this year, just 3 or 4 starts.
Ron Hornaday scooting in front of Todd Bodine, trying to hold Bodine off now as Bodine has looked to the inside.
You can see right there the lead truck. His nose is up. Second, his nose is down. That's 2 different types of setups. We have the lead truck with a conventional setup. Second, with a Colbine setup. Todd Bodine sliding up the hill. Here comes Musgrave with some pit strategy, getting the 3rd position.
Another conventional setup on that 9 truck. Mike Hillman Sr., the team manager for Germain, said he felt like the Colbine setup would work better in traffic. If you get out of the clean air like anybody other than our leader is, then you would have more trouble if you don't have a Colbine setup.
Out in front of the field, it's Mike Skinner. And problems. That's Brian Silas in the 71. He got turned around, and it looks as though the caution flag will fly once again. It's the 3rd
roll down
caution.
Pit road, 3,600. Come on.
But the fun thing about this caution, the leaders won't pit, I don't believe, and these guys had just sorted it all out. Now we're going to
ladder back up again.
Now we're going to glob them all together and let them go again. Let's give it another whirl, guys.
I'm not so sure we're going to have this sorted out even when the checkered flag flies. A lot of great racing there as Lucky Dog goes to the 10 of David Starr. He's back on the lead lap. Skinner out in front. Welcome back to the Quaker Steak and Lube 200 presented on Speed by Dodge. Tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern live on Speed, it's NASCAR Race Day. NASCAR Race Day, get your blood pumping for the NASCAR Nextel All-Star Challenge with 3 huge hours of live pre-race excitement. NASCAR Race Day built by the Home Depot. Live coverage from Charlotte begins tomorrow 4 p.m. Eastern only on Speed. That wall's getting maybe a little bit scratched up tonight.
Yeah, it really is. And we're going to have all sorts of hours on Speed tomorrow. Listen to this. This is Ron Hornaday just a few moments ago.
Tell you what, we must have a good truck for me to go to the outside. I'm scared of the outside here.
And you know what I love about that, Phil? You and I during break we were talking. Hornaday's got a good truck. He's the dominant truck right now. We've seen him win races, but we've never seen him be this dominant. He even noticed it. Adam, what's he saying in the pit?
He's been very pleased all night long. In fact, Michael, when they came down pit road, he made just a slight chassis adjustment. Just a little bit of air pressure was all they did to that truck on his first stop of the night. So that should be pointed out. The other thing we should talk about is the fact they had an issue on pit road. Had to restart 4th because a tire got away. He's already back up to 2nd. So I think it's obvious at this point in the game, Ron Hornaday's Chevrolet, very good. Ray?
Well, Adam, let's hear from Jack Sprague. He's out of the care center. That was one really hard hit.
It was. I forgot what it was like to hit that hard. I don't like it either. But, man, my hat's off to the guys. Tony and the guys gave me a great truck. It was obvious. The Conway Freight Total was really good. Just got into 2nd there, got into clean air, and, you know, I was a little tight behind Travis, and I was just a tick tight in clean air. So, I mean, I think we had something for him, obviously, but blew a right front going into 3, and it was It was hard. It was a really hard hit.
Well, we're glad to see you're okay. The truck is certainly not. Jack Sprague has never finished better than 26th here at Lowe's Motor Speedway.
What they're talking about is this accident that took place. Again, he was coming into 3.
Look at there, Phil, right on the bottom of the racetrack. He was under the white line, and that thing took a right on him.
Yeah, about 50 feet in just a matter of a split second. He's up into the outside wall.
Look how narrow that truck is. These trucks are made of steel. They're tough, and it narrowed it right up. Do you think Hornaday will jump Skinner here?
I think he's going to try to jump Skinner. Let's see what he does.
Green flag flies. We're back underway at Lowe's Motor Speedway. Hornaday looking to the outside.
I think he ran into him.
He's going to the outside. He's afraid of the outside here, but he's going anyway for the lead.
I've never seen him afraid to go to the outside on the restart.
No, that's for sure.
And look, the same thing happened to Skinner before. Hornaday opened the door, and 3 trucks are going to drive by him.
Yep, he went from 1st to 4th early in the race when that happened.
Looks like he's going to shake out in 3rd here.
Travis Kvapil will drop back behind him. Ted Musgrave now moves up to 2nd. Adam.
And he was able to gain that track position, Rick, with a nice move in the pits. You may remember they started 29th, no track position, so they elected to pit for 4 tires at lap number 9. They still didn't have track position, but they already had those fresh tires, so when everyone pitted at lap 41, they took left side tires only. It got them a spot in the top 5, and now they find themselves riding 2nd behind Ron Hornaday.
They're not only riding 2nd, Adam, they're challenging. He's got a fast truck. Here's a good battle for the 7th spot.
There's TJ Bell, and by far his best effort in the Roush Fenway, number 50, Heathcliff's cat litter truck.
Now that's the stuff you put in a cat box, right?
Yep. I believe so.
I think so. Here comes the 16 of Mike Bliss on the outside. The 2 of Kevin Harvick lost all his momentum. The 16 of Mike Bliss just drives by on the outside.
Harvick sounds like he's able to stay in the gas just a little bit longer.
But he's pinned down to the bottom. He can't make that Chevy make the move around the Ford. Watch this save, Phil.
See Allmendinger, the 0-0 on the inside. Harvick, whoa!
And that's
wow.
TJ Bell cutting Harvick a break. TJ had the momentum. He was up in there. He rolled out. But look at the run he gets off the corner after giving the break. Boom! He had that Ford wound up high.
Running right on the white line now as Bliss and TJ Bell move up the racetrack.
Oh, look at it. Ooh. There wasn't any room for that 13 of Willie Allen. There's a 21 of Mark Martin at the back of that pack on the inside, the 51 of Kyle Busch on the outside.
These guys have issues.
Rick Crawford looking to the inside in that number 14, and right behind him is Mark Martin in the 21.
And you know, you're looking at these guys all wadded up racing, and they're in the 14th through 20th position. So that just shows you all over the track there's battles. Here's a battle for 3rd.
The 5 truck and the 6 truck are battling for 3rd right now. Travis Kvapil on the outside, Mike Skinner on the inside.
We've got a battle on the left and a wad of trucks on the right.
This battle on the right is making me nervous. These guys are all over one another.
Rick Crawford leads that pack. There's Mark Martin, the 21 right behind him. On the inside is the 51 of Kyle Busch. Joey Clatton's the 09, the yellow truck. There comes Eric Darnell. Remember, he made a pit stop, a late pit stop on this last caution flag. He's already worked his way back into this pack.
Now, why would that be making me nervous? I'm not going to hit anything. How do you think these guys feel?
You keep hitting me, though.
David Reagan earlier mentioned keep your eye on that number 6 of Travis Kvapil. He thinks that he will be competitive. Well, he's got Mike Skinner all over him right now as they continue to race around the track for 3rd.
Travis has that momentum on the outside. He can keep that thing wound up on the outside. Skinner's back in the throttle quick.
You think these Cup guys aren't sitting down in these all-star guys thinking, ooh, we have got us a tire and we have got us a track. We're going to get with it tomorrow night, and we're going to get with it on speed.
For $1 million. $1 million. No points, no
$1 million.
$1 million. Yeah, that's tomorrow right here on Speed. But right now it is fantastic racing all over this 1.5-mile track.
The 30 of Todd Bodine takes over the 5th place. We're back in another wad here. There's a 59 of Terry Cook. That's Tyler Walker, the 36. Willie Allen, the 13. Here comes Ken Schrader in the Fastenal Dodge on the inside.
What a move for Schrader. He drove around Willie Allen and up beside Tyler Walker in one turn.
They continue to race side by side.
Tyler Walker goes
into
way
the wall. We saw that move going up. Wasn't able to hold it down on the racetrack.
You'll have that occasionally. They put the wall right by the turn. That makes no sense to me.
Well, I think the spectators appreciate it.
There's a lot of green trucks right in there in that wad. Green was thought to be taboo for a number of years in NASCAR.
Tyler Walker tried to scrape a little of the green off.
Your brother Darrell Waltrip changed that when he ran the Gatorade colors and had a lot of success back in the 70s and 80s.
And then he followed that up with the Mountain Dew car and won some championships with it. So everybody got over the green thing in a hurry.
These two green trucks running nose to tail. Again, it's Tyler Walker in the 36, just in front of Willie Allen in the number 13.
Watch this just a few moments ago. Look at that black truck right up your screen. Coming off turn number 4, Kyle's going to make a little slight incidental contact with the outside wall.
Some of the drivers are mentioning on their radios that they believe there's either oil or some sort of fluid on the racetrack.
Another view of Kyle getting the fence. That's the 09 of Joey Clinton as Zaxby's Ford right in front of him.
Ray Dunlap.
Well, guys, you remember early on lap 9, they dropped the track bar 6 rounds, and Kyle said this truck just doesn't feel anything like the truck that we tested here, and they believe there's a possibility that he's got a wheel bearing problem. He said he's got a real bad vibration in the right front. He said it doesn't feel like lug nuts. He said he thinks there's a wheel bearing going bad, so that could really be a big problem if that seizes up.
Hey, Ray, ask him if he thinks it had anything to do with he ran into the wall running 170.
That might not be good, Mikey.
That'll make one shake a little bit too, Phil.
So Kyle Busch looking to make it 3 wins at Lowe's, but he's got his work cut out for him. Ron Hornaday has checked out on Mike Skinner. 3 seconds between him and second. Welcome back to the Quaker Steak and Lube 200, presented on speed by Circle K. It's Lowe's Motor Speedway, one of the most exciting events of the year. 6th race of the season for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. And it has been interesting up to this point. We take a look at our race summary after 68 of the 134 laps scheduled to be run. Hornaday's out in front. There's been 6 lead changes between 5 different truck drivers. Only 3 cautions for 13 laps, and 1 truck currently out of the race. That's the 60 of Jack Sprague.
There's Ken Schrader, the Fastenal Dodge, going by the 51 of Kyle Busch, currently being shown. That's Ted Musgrave right there. Well, currently being shown, but that was Ken Schrader going by Kyle Busch.
We were looking at our Fastenal fast start here. Ted Musgrave has gotten the best start. Started in 29th, has made it all the way up to 5th at this point in the race as we've passed the halfway point. And when we talk about fast, you have got to look at the IWX Ford of Mike Bliss. He is on the move.
That's the 00 of the Aaron's Dream Machine of A.J. Allmendinger. He's having a great run. He's running 6 right now, but that 16 truck of Mike Bliss is coming. Started back in the 8th spot, was back to 10th in lap 42, and now he's made his way up to 7th and moving in on the 00.
Phil and Michael, it still amazes me. We talked to Dave Fuchs today earlier. He doesn't know if he will be able to continue running this truck competitively throughout the year because they just do not have the financing to keep going.
Yeah, Steve Coulter with IWX. He used to own this team, sold it to Dave Fuchs, came on board, going to help him out here. Dave Fuchs really appreciated that. And Adam, what's going on in the pits down there with Dave Fuchs' bunch?
You guys talk about it being a race-to-race operation, and certainly the 16, not one of the higher funded of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, but it's a great tribute to what a really good wheelman Mike Bliss is, especially when it comes to racing the trucks. A solid top 10 here tonight. And remember, earlier this year, driving for Key Motorsports, he finished in the top 10 at California in the 40 truck. So it doesn't seem to matter time, place, or team. Mike Bliss has the ability to get to the front, and he's digging for more, going to the high side of A.J. Allmendinger on the track.
You know, this is the team that won 2 championships back-to-back with Mike Bliss driving, and then also with Travis Kvapil. And that 2003 season for Travis Kvapil, he ran every lap but one the entire season.
And that's a testament to Travis's ability behind the wheel. But what about a team that can construct and maintain a truck that never breaks?
Pretty amazing. Mark Martin on the right side of your screen, just getting by Aaron Fike in the number 1. So Mark Martin in that 21, even after brushing the wall earlier, he's able to keep that truck moving toward the front.
The 16 of Mike Bliss finally worked it. Ooh, going to have a little slow truck. The 40 of Shane Huffman. Going to have to drop in behind the 00 of A.J. Allmendinger and follow him by the 40 truck. it finally worked its way up beside of AJ and had to back off and get behind him.
And right behind these guys, Johnny Benson has worked his way from a poor starting spot up to this group. So Johnny's currently in 9th spot, but he's faster than these guys that are battling for this position, so he can make up some of that 50 points he gave away by continuing to march through the field. But they're not going to catch this guy.
And we have completed about 30 laps of green flag racing since our last caution has come back. Let's do a drop back through the field on speed. We'll begin with Adam Alexander.
You just saw the graphic on your screen. Ron Hornaday has led 45 of the 74 laps tonight, and when he wasn't in the lead, it wasn't taking him long to track them down. He's been very quiet on the radio. A slight air pressure adjustment on that first pit stop of the night at lap 41. I think Ron Hornaday Jr. at this stage poised for his first win of 07, right?
Adam Mike Skinner had led all 3 races coming into all the events that have been here at Lowe's Motor Speedway, and on that first pit stop, his crew chief Jeff Hensley told him the right front tire looks great. Drive it as hard as you'd like to.
That's when Mike Skinner says, "Oh, good." I love to hear that. I want to go.
Continuing on our drop back, Ray Dunlap.
Guys, let's talk about the 30 for Todd Bodine. He said earlier in the day, he said he felt like if they could get this truck good late in the run, he was going to be very happy with it, and that's what they've done so far. Todd hasn't said too much on the radio throughout the course of the night. Now, for the 88 of Matt Crafton, he's been running strong in about every race, but they just can't get the finishes that they'd like. But he's very much looking forward to our next race next weekend at Mansfield Motorsports Park, one of his very best tracks. Adam?
Pit strategy is what's paved the way for Ted Musgrave tonight, running outside the top 20. They took 2 tires, left sides only at lap 41, and it got him into the top 5. You can see he may drop here. A.J. Allmendinger trying to go by on his inside.
Yeah. AJ almost lost that truck. He had a little bit of a help from Bliss to speed by Musgrave, and it almost resulted into the 00 spinning out. But you can see they're both a great deal faster than Ted right now. We know Ted is on some older tires.
Just 2 left side tires on his last pit stop. Let's take a look back at the 00 of A.J. Allmendinger. He's on the inside of the 9 of Ted Musgrave. Watch his hands inside that truck. See him turn back to the right. He's turning back to the right. Way back to the right. Now he's going to turn back to the left.
That's the worst of 2 worlds. He had a truck on the outside and a truck on his tailgate. That'll make you looser than ever.
Did a good job saving that truck.
Hands full for A.J. Allmendinger. Out in front of the field, it's the Camping World number 33 Chevrolet of Ron Hornaday. The difference between him and Skinner, 3.5 seconds. Again, welcome back to Lowe's Motor Speedway. Next NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race will be live on Fox. Although we live here on Speed, we'll be live on Fox next week. That's Saturday, May 26th, 1 p.m. Eastern. It's the short track racing, Ohio 250. Tomorrow, what a finish to a great weekend as far as right here at Lowe's Motor Speedway. It is the big show. The Nextel All-Star Challenge that takes place at 7 p.m. tomorrow night, and that is live on Speed. And what a day leading up to that.
So we'll go from noon till midnight on Speed.
And I have to congratulate Speed, because the whole week this week has been all about All-Star Week. And I think our All-Star event deserves that, and Speed has done it up right.
Putting on a all-star performance right now is Ron Hornaday.
He's putting on a bit of a clinic right now. He's got almost a 5-second lead over our second place truck of Mike Skinner.
What are we going to do? The guy that, if there's a caution, the guy that's the best at restarts has the fastest truck.
And he's out front.
How are we going to?
Very difficult. Well, we need for somebody to beat him off pit road then.
Okay, and then we can see him get another great restart. But you know what? We never know. We can't predict how all this is going to turn out.
Absolutely, because these other guys that aren't quite as fast as him are going to be working on their trucks. He may not want to work on his truck because it's so good right now, and everyone else is going to try to make their trucks better.
The other thing you got to factor into Ron Hornaday's adrenaline right now is that his boss is behind him. He's got to make sure he runs well, because Kevin Harvick
we got a spin off forward.
That's Dennis Setzer in the 75, spun off of turn number 4. Actually got into the infield a little bit sooner than some of the trucks that had spun during practice today.
That was a lazy spin. He must have lost it and then almost saved it. Then the thing finally got away from him. You can see the right front tire from the sliding is flat there.
What this means, 46 laps to go. That means everybody will be in their pit window.
I tried to come back down at the bottom right there, just come around.
Everybody can make it from here. They're going to come in on this caution flag. More than likely, most of these guys will put 4 tires on, and they'll be good to go to the end.
And if you look at the lap times, Phil, they don't fall off much past a 30-70 or 30-80, and the fastest lap some of them run is a 30-20. So they pit right now. They're probably done pitting.
I think so, too.
About 40 laps were run since our last caution, as Chad McCumbee is the recipient of the Aaron's Lucky Dog.
Do you know that everyone's a lucky dog at Aaron's?
I believe you. I'll believe you on that.
Well, I'll just stop right there.
There's Dennis Setzer. He talked about wanting to come back down to the bottom of the race, and he just got away from him. Just slides to the infield grass. Unfortunately, he will lose a lap during that spin.
This is when the complexity of the race changes. You never know when you bring these vehicles down pit road what's going to happen.
And they are coming down pit road now. Adam Alexander.
Ron Hornaday Jr., the guy leading him down pit road. He came on the radio, told crew chief Rick Wren, it's exactly where I wanted. He said 4 tires, fuel, no adjustments. These tires match the last ones. This should be our final stop of the night. Ron Hornaday in, up to Ray Dunlap.
Well, Tavo and Mike Skinner are down at this end. Skinner comes in. They're going to make a track bar adjustment on his Toyota Tundra and an air pressure adjustment on the right front. You see the wrench in on the track bar on that right side. They go down 2 rounds. Plenty of fuel going in. They said this is the last stop of the night, guys. We can make it from here on fuel. They've got the tires put on, and they are not going to be the first off pit road. Hornaday will get out ahead of them. The 18, they're going to have a lot of spots lost. Skinner comes in second. He'll go out about 6th or 7th.
Tough stop for the 5 of Mike Skinner, but Aaron's Lucky Dog, or Aaron's Dream Machine, makes his way up toward the top.
On today's Tools of the Trade, I want to introduce you to Craftsman's brand new professional snap ring plier set. Now this is a really handy group because there's 3 very distinct sizes of snap ring pliers. But people say to me all the time, what in the world is this crazy tool? Well, if you look here, you'll notice there are 2 distinct prongs that stick out of a snap ring plier set. What do teams use it for? Well, this is a snap ring on the inside of this rear trailing arm. And when you pull that in tight, you can get the snap ring out like that, and that allows you to pull this end cap out. Now, lots of drivers might say, I want to put a rubber bushing or a different piece in there. The team goes to work, they do that. You put the snap ring back in, you release it, and right there you go. Now, this has 15 different sizes of tops that you can put on to these 3 different, very unique tools. And always, you can get them at Sears.
Make sure to check out this Craftsman Tools of the Trade and the other great programming on Speed on Demand.
Rick, you remember earlier when I said the Cup guys were standing in the garage watching these trucks saying, ooh, 3 wide, this is going to be fun tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Right now, part of the strategy you'll see tomorrow night could be played out right this minute. These Cup guys could be looking at the fact that AJ got 2 tires. Hornaday got 4. But behind Hornaday, Benson, Schrader, Sauter, a lot of guys got 2 tires.
I love when pit strategy is involved with the outcome of a race.
It has to be.
Green flag flies. We're back underway. Hornaday all over the back bumper of A.J. Allmendinger.
He's just trying to help him get going, which was sweet, I thought.
I think he did that to Mark Martin in California. Again, out in front, it's A.J. Allmendinger. Adam Alexander, how'd he get there?
It was right side tires only for A.J. Allmendinger, Rick. Of course, he had the incident earlier today in practice. Didn't even get the second practice session, but a good qualifying run and some good pit strategy by Jason Overstreet has him with track position as we close in on the latter stages here this evening. And it was also a good pit stop for Johnny Benson. The reason why the 23 did so good, fuel only on his Toyota. We'll watch both those trucks and see how it pans out, closing it on the end.
Look at AJ. Not only did he get the lead, he's been able to maintain it. Put some ground on Hornaday through 1 and 2. Here comes Hornaday back as they enter 3.
Yeah, when the air pressures build up in those tires on Ron Hornaday's truck, that's when it's really going to hit its sweet spot.
And Hornaday's been so strong rolling through the corners. I mean, he gained so much on all of the trucks that he's been able to get by. And then once he got out front, he put almost 5 seconds on the field.
But it's one thing to have a truck that's fast out front, Rick. We heard people talking earlier, a coal-bound truck is better when it's out in front. Right now, Hornaday's got a coal-bound truck behind another truck. Will he be able to make his way around, even though the fact he has 2 better tires? Ray, what are they saying in the 5 pit? What's he doing?
Well, Mike Skinner was very upset about that pit stop. They came in second, went out 9th, Michael. They had a lug nut hung up on the left rear. But Jeff Hensley told him, keep your focus. Just keep your eye on the big picture here. They restarted 9th. Skinner is on the move just a little bit with Mark Martin just ahead of him.
Right side of your screen, watch the left side of that truck. Look at the left rear. They're going to drop the jack here just momentarily. Watch the reaction of those guys right there. They knew that that was not a good pit stop. There's Kevin Harvick, who came in running way behind where Skinner was. A lot of trucks beat him out of the pits.
This is Mark Martin just in front of Mike Skinner, right along with Ted Musgrave. Looking up at Aaron Fike in the number 1.
That's David Starr, the 10 truck on the outside. He's being shown 1 lap down.
Hornaday is all over Allmendinger. He tried him high, he's tried him low, but he can't close the deal, Phil, but he's a lot faster.
He really is, but AJ's done a great job keeping that truck right on the bottom of the racetrack. He hasn't made any mistake. He's hit his marks. We heard his spotter tell him just to be smooth. He's doing a great job so far.
But there's only so long you can hold off a cat that's as fast as Hornaday is. AJ's doing a great job, Jason.
He wiggled right there, Michael. He wiggled right there, and that allowed the 33 of Hornaday to get up beside him.
It was about that long.
But there's a chance when they get down to 3 here, AJ will learn something on the high side that'll help him hold off other guys. He runs around the high side, but Hornaday just drives away. That truck's just fast.
Johnny Benson maintains the 3rd position with a 23 Toyota. Todd Bodine is a little bit behind this battle for the top 3 positions. He's in 4th.
Points leader coming into this race, Mike Skinner had a 108-point lead over 2nd place Todd Bodine. Bodine now running in 4th. Skinner dropped back to 7th.
These cats here can't figure out where they're going. I'm not kidding you. I've never seen more side-by-side racing in one race than I've seen here tonight. They're all over one another.
10 lead changes between 7 different drivers. With 35 laps to go from Lowe's Motor Speedway, Ron Hornaday in front of the field. Can anyone reel him back in? We're going to find out. Coverage of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series on Speed is brought to you by Just for Men. Stay in the game with Just for Men hair color. Brought to you in part by Fastenal. We get it right. And by the official tools of NASCAR, Craftsman. Caution flag has flown. Lowe's Motor Speedway. It's the 5th caution of the night. The 2 trucks involved, the 09 of Joey Clanton, the 99 of Eric Darnell.
It looked like either he just pushed up the racetrack or didn't know the 99 was there, squeezed him into the outside wall, and then that turned him into the outside wall. Then they went all the way down the backstretch. You're going to see the front tires of the 99 of Eric Darnell are going to be locked up here momentarily, and the 09 just riding along there.
Those guys just ran out of room off turn 2. I know the 99's probably thinking, he cut me off, but the 99 a year down the road, or maybe next time, he'll say, I wonder if that guy's going to give me room or not, and just breathe out of it enough to where he doesn't get himself in a crash.
Kyle Busch, number 51, came back in. Looks like he topped off with fuel.
We also saw Skinner to pit road. Why did Skinner come to pit road, Ray?
Michael, they felt like possibly they had an equalized tire. He said he had a really bad vibration. It was one that he could not get all the way through this race, so they had to come in and pit and put tires on it. I thought maybe he just didn't like that set. It was a bigger problem than that. So the big question now is they give up 7th on the speedway to come in and get those tires. We wonder if he can get back there in this short number of laps. Adam?
Interesting exchange under caution between leader Ron Hornaday and his spotter Rick Corelli. Corelli, referring to the last restart when Hornaday was behind A.J. Allmendinger, said he did a pretty good job of blocking you there on the restart, didn't he, Mr. Hornaday? And Ron said, yeah, but you know what? I just backed up and let it happen. And then Corelli reminded him, great job using your patience. And Rick Wren came on the radio and said, it's all yours, Ron. Go get him.
I think that's confidence.
Well, this is that restart I talked about. It's the guy that gets the best restarts with the fastest truck in the front. What are we going to do, Phil?
He's going to get another good restart and open up about 3 truck lengths on A.J. Allmendinger.
I think we're going to watch him. But A.J. Allmendinger has stayed right with him as they work through 1 and 2.
AJ's a cat that gets it, man. You know, we've seen him in his cup car. He qualifies for races. He struggles in the race, but he shows speed. And then he gets in a truck here. Jason Overstreet and those guys made a great call. He wrecked that truck in practice, but he was confident, qualified decent. Now he's running second with just 30 laps to go.
He had very little practice on the racetrack. We've got a great battle for 5th. Mark Martin, the 21, trying to get by the 88 of Matt Crafton for the 5th position. There's Kenny Schrader right behind this group. He's got a great run going. He's running 7th right now, along with Kevin Harvick in 8th. But anyway, A.J. Allmendinger got very little practice. And remember last week when the Truck Series was here for a 2-day practice, good battle for second. Johnny's going to take over the second spot from A.J. Allmendinger. He only got 1 day because he had to go to Darlington for his Nextel Cup car.
And Josh Wise tested that truck the next night. And Josh, young kid who raced USAC last year, won a championship for Tony Stewart. He's going to drive this truck some this year. Drove it at Kansas a couple of weeks ago. Josh was up in the top 10 in this truck as well. So Jason Overstreet and those guys are making that Aaron's Dream machine be a fast truck.
Johnny Benson right now trying to gain back some of those 50 points that he lost from the NASCAR penalty that was incurred by the team from last week's testing incident.
Well, you got to appreciate the job they're doing. I mean, Hornaday's been dominant, and there's Johnny in second, fighting back from issues they had last week.
Johnny Benson with 5 wins to his career, the last one coming toward the end of the season last year at Phoenix.
What a performance that was. Spun out on the second or third lap.
That might have been the first lap.
First lap of the race, he spun out right on the inside of his teammate and worked his way back to the front. Well, now he has to get by the 33 of Ron Hornaday. Can he do it? He's got 27 laps to go from Lowe's Motor Speedway. The Quaker Steak and Lube 200, presented on Speed by Dodge, continues after these messages. Welcome back to the Quaker Steak and Lube 200, presented on Speed by Dodge. We're riding along with Kevin Harvick. The reason he's slowing down is he has expired. This is the end of the run for Kevin Harvick. He will pull that truck into the garage. And so not a good evening for Kevin Harvick as he's about to climb out of his truck.
They're not going to tell Ron Hornaday about that, are they, Rick?
I hope not. Well, Sunday on Speed, don't miss the Speed Report. Go beyond the highlights and beyond the stats. Get the why with the Speed Report Sunday, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, only on Speed.
And they are going to have a lot to talk about on the Speed Report with the Nextel All-Star Challenge here tomorrow night on Speed, the Nextel Open. We're going to have the Truck Series to talk about. What a great weekend for racing.
How about the ARCA Series in Toledo on Sunday?
The ARCA Series in Toledo that'll be live on Speed at noon on Sunday.
All I told y'all is I got my TiVo set. I can't wait till Sunday. I'm gonna live on Speed just like I have all week.
Well, at noon you're gonna have to stop your TiVo and watch the ARCA race, and then you can go back to your TiVo. Is that a deal?
I love it. You guys will be there calling the action. We'll have the Ken Butler III car up there for Michael Waltrip Racing. You have to watch him, see how he does.
We will. We'll keep an eye on him. TJ Bell gets a spot from Ted Musgrave. That moves him into the 9th position. Great run for TJ Bell.
Really shot past Ted Musgrave right there. Blake Bjorklund on the inside of Ted Musgrave now.
Blake's a lap down. A couple, actually.
But he's running with some good trucks, getting some good experience right now. There's Mike Skinner. He's battling his way back into the top 10.
Skinner thought he had a problem with the tire, came onto pit road, sent him all the way back to the high teens, low 20s when he came back out on the racetrack, and as you mentioned, has worked his way back up into contention for a top 10 run.
Now, we said he was 7th when he pitted. We didn't think he could get even back to there, Phil.
Yeah, I'm surprised that he's got back to 11th right now. Hasn't been able to get by the 8 of Blake Bjorklund yet, the lap truck. We're running out of laps, only 18 laps to go. Again, maybe that conventional setup, the non-coil bind setup may struggle a little bit in traffic, Michael.
And look here, this is a great battle for second. Benson got around Allmendinger right on the restart, but AJ's been heating Johnny up. Been all over him right there in that Aaron's Dream truck. can't quite make the move, but you can see Johnny gets in the corner a little bit easier than AJ, but then stretches it out as they exit. It's just two different philosophies. You can drive a track in many different ways. You can get in deep, get off slow, or vice versa.
1.9 seconds the difference between Ron Hornaday out in front of the field and Johnny Benson running in second. It's AJ Allmendinger in third. Todd Bodine and Mark Martin are your top 5 from Lowe's Motor Speedway. Let's take a look at tonight's Stay in the Game with Just for Men moment. And talk about having your hands full here, guys.
Watch these hands. Watch him. He's going to have to correct that truck. He's going to have to turn to the right. He's going to turn to the right a little bit. He's
now
a little bit sideways.
Watch this swipe at it, Phil.
Yeah. Now he's going to go all the way to the lock. The left arm is going to go all the way over the top and lock it against the right arm and never backs off the throttle.
There's no way he ever lifted. He just kept his foot on the floor.
Oh, caution came out. Johnny Benson gets hard into the wall. You see the damage to the right side of that truck. That's our 6th caution of the night, and Johnny Benson was in contention.
It looks a lot like the 60 of Jack Sprague's truck.
That's weird. A couple of long runs and a couple of
right front tire issues, it appears. There he is right there running second. That's AJ Allmendinger, the 00. He's right below the white line, just like Jack Sprague was.
Only better. At least he had made it to the middle. Jack had just dipped down into the turn and took a worse angle on that wall, I believe.
Johnny was at least as slow as he was going to go in that corner when that happened, but a lot of damage to that X-Side Toyota.
Ray Dunlap, I believe you've caught up with another driver who's out of this race.
Yeah, Kevin Harvick is out with a broken engine. Now, I'm wondering, how much were you running wide open tonight?
It was pretty close to wide open. You know, our Camping World Chevrolet was handling really good, and just, you know, just couldn't quite get where we needed to be on track position-wise. So we just had a little problem there. I don't know what it was. We were, you know, 10 or 11, 12, something like that, and just shut it off just to make sure we could find out what it was.
Okay, now as driver, you're out, but as owner, you might win. You should get out there and root on Hornaday.
I'm going to stay back here. Okay. I don't want to jinx anything.
All right, bad luck. Schleprock is done for the day.
Climbing out of the truck, Johnny Benson looks to be okay, but obviously 2 hits in a row. A week ago, 50 points for the penalty, and now the wall. No points, no championship. It's $1 million to finish first. Now that is obviously the race that's going to take place tomorrow. It's 1 day away, the NASCAR Nextel All-Star Challenge, only right here on Speed.
These guys have a tendency to wreck every now and then too, guys.
They do occasionally.
You've seen it, haven't you?
I have seen it.
And we've seen side-by-side racing all night tonight, and we expect that all night tomorrow night as well. We'll be back with more and the finish.
Introducing the all-new Dodge Avenger.
Commence heat-seeking missile test.
With a heated cup holder. .5-liter V6. And ESP with all-speed traction control. Oh, did we mention the cup holder also cools? The all-new Dodge Avenger.
Thanks for seeing us, DW.
Please, call me the Dream Father.
Dream Father, sadly, I must step aside as driver of the O'Aaron's Dream Machine. With respect, I ask you if I could have your driver, David Rudiman.
Michael, your family. He's yours.
Aaron's guaranteed lowest price on brand name merchandise with no credit check is an offer you can't refuse.
Mikey, someday I might need a favor, like driving the old Dream Machine.
Respectfully,
You can't refuse the Dream Father.
Ciao, Dream Guy. Come on, Root.
With less than 8 laps remaining, let's take a look at how we got here. The sun set at Lowe's Motor Speedway under the lights for the 6th race of the season. Mike Skinner out in front of the field, but early on, problems for Justin Hopgood.
Loses control, backs that 03 Germain Toyota into the outside wall.
Then it was side-by-side racing, a battle for the lead, another battle for the lead. Ron Hornaday with a strong truck, but it was a lot of problems too. Jack Sprague early on getting into the wall with a right front tire going down.
Hard contact with the outside wall.
A little more contact. That was the 51 of Kyle Busch scraping the wall, and then problems for the 75 of Dennis Setzer. He spins across the infield.
On the backstretch, Joey Clanton, the 09 and the 99 of Eric Darnell get together coming off turn 2.
And then the guy that's leading the race, his teammate, his engine breaks, and he pulls to the pit. That's Kevin Harvick.
Then it was Johnny Benson most recently. The right front going down on that truck. He gets into the wall, has to climb out and make his way into the ambulance. Ron Hornaday out in front after 126 laps. We've had 7 different leaders changing hands 10 times the lead and 6 cautions for 23 laps.
There's 6 trucks being shown out of the race right now. We're going to have a single file restart. There's A.J. Allmendinger right there. There's Ken Schrader, the Fastenal Dodge. He's got a great run going. Schrader's showing 6 right now.
What do you think about this restart, Phil? You got Ron Hornaday. He's on the restarts, we know. You got Allmendinger. He's sort of a wild card. He's an IndyCar racer. He's never been running second with a handful of laps to go. How will he respond to this pressure? Because right behind him, champion Todd Bodine. It doesn't get easy as you go on back.
And Mark Martin right behind him. So I'm going to make a prediction. Number 1, I think Hornaday's a restart master. AJ's not going to jump by Ron Hornaday on this restart, but he's got Todd Bodine and Mark Martin chomping at the bit to try to get up to Hornaday. I think there's going to be a battle for second in this first lap after the restart.
I wished I agreed with you, but I like seeing ODW's truck right there in the second spot. I see AJ making a run on Hornaday and making us all go, how did he do it? How did he out?
Not on Ron Hornaday.
Well, he has been impressive in the few races that we've seen him here in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. He's been impressive in the Nextel Cup races that we've seen him run in.
Well, like I said, he's a cat. When he stumbled in, you watched him a little bit, and you said, this guy's got potential.
He finished 5th in his 2nd Truck Series race at Talladega last year.
Yeah. And so you look at all those things, and you watch him make progress in the Cup Series. Now he's to a point, 2nd tonight in this Craftsman Truck Series race, he's to a point where people are going to say, he'll get it. He'll be a guy that makes it at this level.
And it wasn't just a good truck that he had. He's had his hands full tonight. He's been able to race that thing up to the front.
Well, think about this. The last time he was in it before the race started was qualifying, but before that he had wrecked off turn 4.
That's right.
The crew repaired it perfectly, and the crew also made a great call and got him up in the front with 2 tires.
Through the quad oval, the green flag flies. Hornaday in front of A.J. Allmendinger.
Trucks are going everywhere back there. Bliss jumps to the outside in the 16 truck.
Ron Hornaday, a great restart, but A.J. Allmendinger not letting him go. 3 wide as they come out of 2.
Oh, they're going to get together, too.
Well, Rick Crawford just barely squeezed in front of the 5 of Mike Skinner.
Crawford moving toward the front. Skinner and Kyle Busch racing back here with Travis Kvapil. Look at Crawford go. He gets by T.J. Bell now as he continues toward the front.
I mean, there's 5 laps to go, and we could still have some issues.
A.J. Allmendinger was holding on to second when he went by the start-finish line.
Comfortably in second.
And also challenging Hornaday. But back behind him, watch coming off turn 2 here. There are position after position being contested.
5 laps of racing to go. They make their way back in front of the grandstands. Ron Hornaday, A.J. Allmendinger, that time separated by just over 1/10 of a second.
Just 4 laps to go. A.J. is all over Hornaday.
Todd Bodine holding on to 3rd. Then back to 4th is Mark Martin. Matt Crafton in the 5th position.
A.J. can taste it. He wants some of Hornaday.
It's a battle for 7th right there. The 16 of Mike Bliss takes over the 7th spot over the 18 of Ken Schrader. There's Rick Crawford falling back a little bit on the outside.
3 laps of racing to go. Todd Bodine right now running in the 3rd spot. Ray Dunlap.
Well, guys, Todd Bodine's been wearing a painted-up helmet each and every race, but they reminded him he hasn't won lately. So today he went back to the white helmet, and Mike Hillman Jr., the crew chief, just reminded him, got the white helmet on tonight. That means we normally win.
Well, the caution has come back out once again. The 99, the troubles continue for Eric Darnell.
It looks just like that 60 truck and the 23 of Johnny Benson.
You can have the highs of the last race we were in when he won and the lows of not being able to finish this one.
Well, this probably was precipitated by his contact on the back straightaway, and he got down in the corner, something rubbed and blew the right front tire out. He was up high on the track, or in the middle of the track, and it just blew out and went into the wall. If you're A.J. Allmendinger, do you say, yes, I got another shot at him? Or do you say, darn it, I might lose second.
He's a winner. He won a bunch of champ car races last year. I think he says, yeah, man, give me another shot at him.
Well, but he's got Hornaday in front of him. It looks like the longer run, he would have had a better shot at him. Now it's going to be a green-white checkered finish.
I don't agree. He's been able to hang with Hornaday for a couple of laps on a restart. Ron jumps him a little bit, then AJ heats him back up. They run some laps. Hornaday just eases away. Now he's got a couple of laps, a couple of opportunities. We think it appears that he has more power than Hornaday. When they go down into the corners, he's able to close on Hornaday. Hornaday's a little bit stronger in the center of the corner. Maybe he gets a run on him.
Maybe he can run this corner wide open right after the restart, and maybe Hornaday will have to get out of the throttle. He can jump to the outside of him.
What about a hunger? Ron Hornaday has 29 wins in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. A.J. Allmendinger has yet to find victory lane.
Well, I'm just waiting for Ray to chime in with his green-white checker stats.
He has a few, but first, let's go down to Adam Alexander.
It's been a long day for this 00 team. The crew chief for A.J. Allmendinger, Jason Overstreet. Have you left something in the tank for these final laps?
I hope so. We're going to try. Hornaday's pretty solid, so we'll just give it all we got. Green-white checker, you never know.
The youngster versus the veteran in a shootout at Charlotte. Should be fun.
Don't forget the Onion back there in third, Todd Bodine. If those two trucks get to battling side by side, then we may see the Onion come into play here.
One of the things I think we can't leave unsaid is the fact that Jason Overstreet helped put that truck back together after a lot of damage to the front end of it earlier today in practice when A.J. Allmendinger went sliding across the grass.
Well, let me explain something to you. For the last week or so, there's been a little bit of turmoil between Jason Overstreet and A.J. Allmendinger. Things didn't go well at Martinsville the last time these two were together. So they've wondered, they've questioned one another. They decided on Wednesday of this week, let's give it a shot. Let's go show people what we're made of. I'll be darned. What are they showing them? Ray, I know you got them. What are they?
Just for you, Mikey, I'll let you know that we have had 4 races here at Lowe's Motor Speedway, and 2 of those have gone green-white checkered. Ted Musgrave won, and Kyle Busch won. Now, tonight will be the 65th green-white checkered in the series history of Craftsman Truck Racing.
And how many of them have switched leads and, you know, all the things you like to tell us?
Well, a lot.
Yeah.
wait a minute. Is that exact? A lot?
Roughly a lot.
Almost perfect.
The lights are out on the pace truck, meaning this time by Randy Kaiser will pull that truck onto pit road, and he will leave it in the hands of Ron Hornaday, the restart master. A.J. Allmendinger looking for his first ever win in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, actually in NASCAR. And right behind him, it's Todd Bodine, our reigning NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series champion. The top 3 at Lowe's Motor Speedway. The fans are on their feet looking for a fantastic finish.
I think from here to turn 2 is going to be where this race is going to be decided.
Back into the gas they go. Hornaday, Allmendinger, Todd Bodine. Behind them, it's Mark Martin with a good start. Matt Crafton, and then Ted Musgrave goes to the outside. That's a battle for 5th early on.
Allmendinger's got to run off turn 2. Hornaday dives low to block. Will our Allmendinger go under him?
Allmendinger looking to the inside. He stays right on the back bumper of Ron Hornaday. They both hug the white line. Hornaday now moves up the racetrack. They come back into the quad oval. 1 lap of racing to go. The white flag flies from Lowe's.
Hornaday's got a couple 3 truck links on him to see what Allmendinger can do down in 1 and 2.
Nose to tail. Hornaday in front looking for his 30th win in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Allmendinger behind him. Todd Bodine in 3rd. 4th, Mark Martin 5th. Ted Musgrave through 3 and 4. Ron Hornaday comfortably out in front of the rookie A.J. Allmendinger, and Ron Hornaday will win the Quaker Steak and Lube 200.
Rick Wren.
Awesome job, Ron. Also the first win in Charlotte. What a day.
That was crew chief Rick Wren right there.
Hey, and Ron hadn't let off yet. He wanted to make sure he won that race. What a textbook finish. Restart, hold your ground, and win the race.
Yeah, you mentioned early on in the race what a strong truck this 33 was with Ron Hornaday.
You know, we've seen Hornaday win races, but not in this fashion lately. You know, tonight he had it from the beginning. Adam,
Rick Wren standing on the pit wall as crew carried him off the box. Congratulations, the first win for both you and Ron here at Charlotte.
It's just been awesome. It's just been awesome. We came here, tested good, things were great. We unloaded good. I'd like to say something. I lost a family member this week, and I can't be there because of what I do. And my thoughts are to all of my family back in Illinois. We lost a sister this week. But I'll tell you what, Rick Corelli and I talked about this the other day. I was his crew chief. We changed sponsors in the middle of the season, win the first night out with a new sponsor. We talked about how great it'd come to Charlotte and do the same thing. Camping World come on board, and we're in victory lane. It is absolutely awesome.
There's going to be a party tonight, I got a feeling.
And now Chevrolet has found victory lane in 2007. And they dominated here at Lowe's Motor Speedway, this being the 5th race, 4 times.
You know what was cool? The best truck took 4 tires and won the race. But the second place truck got track position by getting 2 tires. That's what you want from a tire and a racetrack. Give me some options.
That's right, and they had a lot of options tonight.
Ron Hornaday celebrating in front of the crowd here at Lowe's Motor Speedway. The Fastenal Fast Finish, your top 5 from Lowe's. We'll be back with Ron Hornaday. The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series on Speed is presented by Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge. Brought to you in part by Fastenal. We get it right. And by the official tools of NASCAR, Craftsman. Let's head to victory lane. And before we do that, we'll go to Ray Dunlap, who's with A.J. Allmendinger.
Well, Rick, Hornaday's not quite ready to celebrate yet, but I want to tell you, you guys should celebrate after the day you had today. The front nose of that thing was torn off, and a great run tonight. Congratulations.
Thank you, and you know, that's all credit to the whole Darrell Waltrip Motorsports team. They had a lot of work to do, but they stayed in it, and you know, the truck was awesome. Ron was just a touch better, but it's one of those things. If he made a mistake, I was going to be all over him. But you know, great credit to the Toyota Tundra, the whole Aaron's Dream Machine, and Red Bull for being a part of this, and you know, sticking with it.
All right, congratulations. Second place run for A.J. Allmendinger. That's a career best. Now let's go to victory lane and Adam.
Ron Hornaday did donuts into victory lane, and now he's climbing out of his Chevrolet, celebrating the win. Ron, your first win of 2007, your first since July of last year, and you did it here at Charlotte. How special is this?
Kevin Harvick, Delana Harvick, unbelievable sponsors. Rick Wren, thank you for a nice, good truck. I've won a lot of races with blue and yellow, and I got to thank RV.com, Camping World, everybody would come aboard to help this whole thing out in Chevrolet. Awesome. This is pretty cool, isn't it?
Dominating race truck here tonight, but Ron, some late cautions, and you had to fight off A.J. Allmendinger. Take us through those restarts late.
This truck was awesome on long runs, and I know he had a good run. I mean, I went through the corners flat-footed the last 30 laps. I ran the thing wide open, and if I can hook the tires, I'm really good, but he'd get a good draft off me, and I thought he had us, but we ran her down low and blocked to make sure I took some air off his nose, but Charlotte Motor Speedway, I won. I hated this racetrack. They fixed the bumps. I got used to the bumps, and I got to learn how to drive it, and all of a sudden they changed the track, and I didn't like it again. But Rick Wren, all the guys, Danny Stockman, you name it, all these guys. I'm out of breath just doing donuts with these crowds. I'm so excited.
Lots of breaks in the early part of the 07 schedule, but now we go 7 weeks in a row, and next week we go to Mansfield, where you won a year ago. Talk about picking up the momentum right now.
This team's always had momentum. That's all we needed. You know, last year we broke a carburetor shaft and a wheel loose at Daytona, stuff like that, and that they come and start where we started and start the 7-week stretch. That says a lot to Kevin Delana and Rick Corelli, Stacy Johnson, everybody that's putting this whole thing together, Fred, Lexi. This is pretty cool to have the people behind us in the short amount of time when Kevin Harvick started this truck team and Busch team and everything he's got going, and to come out here and beat him too and everybody else. It was pretty awesome.
Career win number 30 for Ron Hornaday Jr., and it comes to the Lowe's Motor Speedway in Charlotte and the Quaker Steak and Lube 200. Ray?
Well, Adam, every race this year, Todd Bodine has finished 7th or better. Tonight, a 3rd-place run. Ashland's hanging out with you here. Tell me about your night. Anything you'd have changed if you could?
Well, I was trying to win because Monday's her birthday. That was going to be her birthday present. But we had a good run with the Slumber Liquidators Tundra. were a little too tight at the end, a little arrow tight behind them, but we're doing some different things on our setup, and we're trying to learn, and we came a long way. I think we're going to be all right with it, and had some great pit stops. The guys worked hard all day. It's been a long day. They've been here since like 7, so it was a good day.
Now, you were supposed to win tonight because you had the white helmet back.
Well, and we had the white helmet, but it was a good run. You know, a third, we stay out of trouble, so maybe we'll have to try it again next week.
Okay, going to be a really good night for points for Todd Bodine. He finishes 3rd tonight here at Lowe's Motor Speedway.
As Ron Hornaday continues to celebrate in victory lane, he has moved up to 3rd in the point standings. Todd Bodine holds on to 2nd and has closed the gap just a little bit from Mike Skinner. 85 points separate the two of them. We'll be back with more from Lowe's after this. Kids enjoying the celebration in victory lane with Ron Hornaday. It's the Quaker Steak and Lube 200 presented on Speed by Dodge. Take a look at our unofficial results. TJ Bell with a career best, finishing 9th.
Mike Bliss took the IWX Ford up into the 6th spot. Matt Crafton, yet another top 10. Never been out of the top 10 here at Lowe's Motor Speedway. And Mike Skinner fought his way back from a late pit stop to get another top 10 finish, finishes 8th.
The streak ends today. Kyle Busch finishing 11th after 2 consecutive wins at this racetrack.
He just never could get anything going. That truck took off fast for a few laps, but then right away he faded back, pitted a lot, never could get it right.
Kevin Harvick had engine failure. He dropped off the racetrack. Johnny Benson into the wall after a right front tire going down, as did Jack Sprague.
Brennan Gaughan had engine trouble fairly early on, finishes in the 35th position.
Take a look at our point standings through 6 races. Again, this is unofficial, but Mike Skinner with an 81-point lead over Todd Bodine. Rick Crawford dropped to 4th. Ron Hornaday with this win moved up to 3rd.
Ted Musgrave in the top 5. Matt Crafton 6th in points. And I think, Ray, have you caught up with our Ted Musgrave, who's 5th in points?
Yeah, and he's actually looking at the points list right here. You've gained a few points tonight, but you're 4th top 5 at this racetrack. How come you're so good here?
I'm not. I just got lucky. You know, we're right there at the end. I just made some desperate moves. You know, it was 10 to go. I was like 9th position. I said, this ain't me. I got to do something. So you've seen some. I got the in-car camera. We can replay it. You know, I made some desperate moves, got around some guys, but you know, the guys made a good adjustment at the end where I can run the top in 3 and 4, staying the throttle hard, and that's where I did all my passing more or less over there. So it's just the guys working hard, not just me. It's just the team I've got and Team ASC behind us. We're doing good.
Okay, the team is coming on strong. Musgrave improves in the points.
And so as the drivers continue with their media obligations, we will conclude this broadcast in just a moment from under the lights at Lowe's Motor Speedway. Pictures still taking place in victory lane. It's the Quaker Steak and Lube 200 presented on Speed by Dodge. Our next race is the Ohio 250 from Mansfield Motorsports Park. That one will be live on Fox, so make sure to tune in Saturday, May 26th, 1 p.m. Eastern. It continues on Speed, though. Tomorrow, a very big day. It all starts at noon with NASCAR Live and culminates when we have NASCAR Victory Lane at 11 o'clock. It's the Nextel All-Star Challenge live on Speed. That's at 7 o'clock tomorrow.
We got a racy track for the All-Star race tomorrow night. It's going to be big.
We've seen them run the bottom, we've seen them run the middle, we've seen them run the top, and they're going to do it all tomorrow night right here on Speed.
Winner of the Quaker Steak and Lube 200, Ron Hornaday, just his 3rd win on a 1.5 mile track. And 30 wins for Ron Hornaday, so an impressive career, and he adds to those numbers at Lowe's Motor Speedway. His first ever win on this track.
Yeah, great job by Ron Hornaday. It's pretty fun to be down there in Victory Lane at this racetrack, isn't it, Michael?
Oh, it's a special place, and that's what those guys tomorrow night, their fangs are going to be out. Their claws are going to be on it.
It's under the lights from Lowe's Motor Speedway. Rick Wren, Ron Hornaday celebrate tonight.